The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Private hospitals in Iloilo City are cutting ties with PhilHealth due to unpaid claims beginning next year. Now, how will this affect access to healthcare services in the city? Let's find out more. Joining us this evening is none less than Iloilo City Mayor, Mayor Jerry Treñas. He's over the phone. Mayor Treñas, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Maayong gabi, Mayor Jerry. Mayor, would like to find out first, for the context of our viewers, can you tell us how can or how private hospitals in Iloilo can actually or came up with this decision to no longer renew their contract or their affiliation with PhilHealth?
Uh, well, the private hospital starting, I think, middle of this year, we've been having Zoom meetings with PhilHealth central office. And we've met with the senior officers of PhilHealth together with the private hospitals. And we even met one time with Attorney Giran of PhilHealth. And as of August, the private hospitals alone had an outstanding account already of 545 million pesos. And there were several times that PhilHealth assured the private hospitals that they were going to reconcile the accounts between the private hospitals and the PhilHealth. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, nothing happened. As a matter of fact, I filed on behalf of the city a complaint with the anti-red tape authority and also with the ombudsman to already require PhilHealth to pay the accountabilities with the private hospital.
Mm-hmm.
The private hospitals also rely on their billings with PhilHealth, considering that they also have employees to pay, utilities, loans, and other accountabilities. That is the reason why I think after so much time and meetings, the private hospitals decided to disengage with PhilHealth starting January.
Mm-hmm. Mayor Jerry, with this situation, what is the city's next course of action?
Well, insofar as the city is concerned, we have even filed a complaint with the ombudsman and the uh, anti-red tape authority. I have informed Secretary Duque and
Mm-hmm.
Secretary Sani Dominguez, also Secretary Vince Dizon and Secretary Galvez about this. I hope that uh, something will happen, no? Uh, I really hope that PhilHealth will come across because this is really going to affect a lot of our patients coming from not only from Iloilo, but also from the whole Panay and Guimaras. Because even during the pandemic, 70% of the patients in the hospitals are coming from Panay and Guimaras and not from Iloilo City.
Mhm. Mayor Jerry, again, just to clarify, what are you expecting from this complaint that is filed in the Office of the Ombudsman?
Well, I am expecting the Ombudsman and the Anti-Red Tape Authority to order PhilHealth to pay because the problem is really with PhilHealth. No,
Mm-hmm.
the private hospitals are only asking that the accountabilities be paid.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, Mayor Jerry, should, let's say, PhilHealth settle the dues, do you think these private hospitals in Iloilo City would reconsider again accrediting themselves once again the dues are paid?
I think if these accountabilities can be paid, then the hospitals have no reason not to accredit with PhilHealth. The problem with the private hospitals accreditation is that it is pushing them to bankruptcy, and we do not want that to happen. Also,
Mm-hmm. Again, this is very unfortunate, Mayor Jerry, especially now that, of course, we are in the middle of a pandemic. But how will this affect the residents of Iloilo City, especially when it comes to their health care?
well, the problem will really be aggravated by this. No, uh, it will mean that the people of Panay and Guimaras who are uh, using the private hospitals will have to shoulder the PhilHealth share when they pay their accounts in the hospitals, and they will be the ones to charge PhilHealth for the same.
Mhm. Well, Mayor Jerry, we hope that things are resolved soon. And thank you so much for sharing with us your time this evening. That's a Mayor Jerry Treñas of Iloilo City. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, Pfizer BioNTech has formally submitted an application for emergency use authorization of its vaccine for children aged 5 to 11. According to Food and Drug Administration Director General Eric Domingo, Pfizer EUA application could be fully processed and approved before the end of the year. This means that children aged 5 to 11 may soon be able to receive Pfizer vaccines by January. Now, at present, only minors aged 12 to 17 are included in the country's COVID-19 vaccination program. The health department logs over 400 new COVID-19 cases today. The caseload still stands at above 2.83 million, some 11,200 of which are still active. 6 duplicates were removed from the total case count. Now, the virus, meanwhile, killed at least 184 more people, pushing the death toll to over 50,200. 178 were reclassified from recoveries. Survivors, meanwhile, are at 2.77 million, with over 500 new recoveries in the past 24 hours. Now, only 1.2% of the 36,700 tests included in today's bulletin yielded positive results. 3 laboratories were not able to submit data. It is up to the court. This is what the Justice Department says in response to detained Senator Leila de Lima's plea to allow her to record campaign materials while in jail. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara said that they are leaving the issue to the discretion of the court. But Guevara also stressed DOJ prosecutors discharge their duty professionally and without regard to the status of the accused. The comment comes after De Lima said that DOJ prosecutors were blocking her motion and accused her of seeking special treatment. Recall that De Lima is seeking re-election in the coming polls. A staunch opposition to President Duterte, De Lima has now been in detention for 5 years for what she says were trumped-up drug charges. Several countries have announced their diplomatic boycott of next year's Beijing Winter Olympics. But it's not the first time global politics has cast a shadow on global sports. More details in this Bloomberg video.
Finally, one more thought. The geopolitics of sports, yet once again. This week, the United States made it official it would not be sending any delegation to the Beijing Winter Olympics next year.
The Biden administration will not send any diplomatic or official representation to the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics and Paralympic Games, given the PRC's ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang and other human rights abuses.
The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the administration would be backing Team USA 100%, albeit from a pretty big distance. This is hardly the first time that we've seen the Olympics used as a lever in geopolitics, going all the way back to the 1980 Olympics in Moscow, when President Jimmy Carter didn't just keep American officials away, he kept U.S. athletes from competing after Russia invaded Afghanistan.
I can't say at this moment what other nations will not go to the Summer Olympics in Moscow. Ours will not go.
And the effect? Well, Russian troops stayed in Afghanistan for another 9 years. But what might hurt more than the loss of a few officials up in the stands at the games might be if corporate sponsors pulled out their support, something that Richard Haas of the Council on Foreign Relations has warned about.
In a world in which corporations, David, are far more vulnerable to political pressures from investors and others, I wouldn't be surprised if both governments and corporations essentially decided to hold back from China.
And then there's the threat that China just might not get to see some sports at all, as in the case of the World Tennis Association, which has pulled all of its matches from China out of concern over the fate of China's only #1 tennis player in history, Ms. Peng Shuai, after she accused a former senior government official of sexual assault, and then she disappeared. Longtime Olympics official Dick Pound explains.
All kinds of people were trying to get in touch with her to make sure that she was alive and healthy and not in captivity.
But if we really want to get China's attention, maybe we're better off using sports as a carrot instead of a stick. Just remember all the way back in 1971 what happened when a simple table tennis match paved the way for President Nixon to go to China. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Let's take a quick look now at today's other top stories. The low-pressure area outside the Philippine Area of Responsibility southeast of Palau has developed into a tropical depression. Pagasa says it may enter the country's territory on Tuesday and will be given the local name Odette by then. Unioil projects that the prices of diesel would increase by up to 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter this week. Gasoline prices are likewise expected to rise up to 1 peso and 50 centavos per liter following a series of rollback. And the local government of Quezon City has allowed live audience for PBA games within its jurisdiction. The PBA has set the succeeding Governors Cup and PBA 3-on-3 matches at the Araneta Coliseum for the holidays. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.